Hi, so we're going to talk about three concepts in Java, that is classes, objects, and constructors. What are classes? Classes are templates which are used to define properties and behaviors. And objects are the ones that possess those properties and behaviors. For example, I'm going to use a very simple example, like an animal. We have a class of animal. In animal, we have different types of animal. So animal as a whole thing is a class. And those different types of animals, for example, we have dogs, cats, what other objects. So let me write very easy thing here. So you have a class called animal. So before we go further, when you're defining a class in Java, you use a keyword class. And this public is an access modifier that says that you can access this class anywhere. And then the class name must begin with a capital letter. So we have, for example, a class called animal. And we know all animals have their different names, a name which is a string, right? And all animals have different types of sounds they make. So these are the properties that I've given to animal, right? I've not specified any type of animal. So the objects are going to come in to specify, like for example, when I have a dog, it's going to use this property called name to define its own name. For example, a dog called Bob, and it makes sound of woohoo. And then I can have a cat using the same properties in the same class. So if I can go ahead and define the main method, because we know that in Java, a class to run, it must have a main method. And the main method is defined as public static void main. So this is my main method, right? So to define an object in a class, you first write the name of the class the way it appears. Then next is the name of the object, for example, dog, equals to the new keyword. Then you repeat again the name of the class, right? And then semicolon. So that is one object. It's indicating here that this is not an error, but it's saying that I've not yet used this object. I'll use it later. So I can define another object called cat. Same syntax, right? So I have two different objects. I have a dog and a cat, right? And I have two variables. So I can to give the dog its specific name, you write the name of the object, then you use the dot operator to access the name here. And then I can assign a name to it. Since it is a string, I must put the name into double quotes. I can say its name is Bob. And then you must put there a semicolon, because every statement in Java must end with a semicolon. So you see here, this yellow line has gone away because I've used the what? I've used the variable. So I can go ahead and use the cat object, also access the name what? The name variable. And then also give it a what? A name. I can call it Whiskey. The name of the cat is Whiskey. So you see, I've used these two different types of objects to access this one variable called name, and then I've defined them into different types. So if I can print them out, system dot out dot print line. So dog name. This will be able to print the name of the dog, which is Bob. So system out print cat name, right? So if I can run this, as you can see here, we have been able to print the what? We are using only one variable. We declare the variable, because we declare the variable called name once and then we are using it twice. So a class is like an enclosure. It provides properties that are like used all the way by different types into in that particular class. So I've explained a class and then you understand also objects. I can also use the sound, but then this has given you the basic understanding. Then I can explain constructor. What is a constructor? So we are assigning values here at this position using the dot operator. So a constructor, this is a way in which to initialize the properties of the class when an object is created. The syntax of a constructor, you can give it an access modifier, which is already public, and then the syntax of a constructor, it has the same name as the class. So my class is called animal, and my constructor will be also called animal, right? So a constructor is like a method, and it takes in the property, the variables that are declared here. So we have a string called name and another string called sound, right? So after inputting the variables inside, you have to come here and use the this keyword, and this name equals to that particular name. Not to confuse yourself, you can give it another name, but it's better to use the same name not to confuse yourself. Since there are two, you have to define both of them, and this dot sound equals to sound, right? So here in the main method, it's already complaining. I told you that a constructor is used to initialize the objects. You don't have to come and give them the values manually here, but rather when you create a new object, you're just going to come here. Since it takes in two parameters, you must give it, for example, its name is Bob, that is a dog, and then it makes a sound called woof, woof, right? And then the cat, its name is Whiskey. And then it makes a sound called meow. It's meow, right? So I don't have to assign the values manually like I did here. See? So I can comment this out, right? So if I want to print the values, I can say this one is printing the dog's name. To access the variables, you still use the same syntax. You use the name of the object, then the dot operator, then you access it. I can put in some words to just make the statements clear. I can say the dog name is, I use the plus sign to concatenate it. That is the dog name. And it makes our sound. So you can use that, and then to access the sound, you use the name of the object, then dot the variable name, which is called sound, right? And then I can come here also to the cat. I can say that the cat name is that and it makes a sound and I access the sound, it is cat dot sound, right? So if I run this, it is saying the dog name is Bob, right? And it makes a sound woof woof. And the cat name is Whiskey and it makes a sound meow, right? So the difference here, using a constructor, you're able to assign the properties here at the point where you create the object, not assigning them manually, because this takes a lot of code lines and time. So thank you very much. Let me hope this has helped you in some way.